Peace and bliss. I'm Be the Alchemist, and Spirit just put a message on my heart to share. I want to talk about the spirit and the energies of confusion. Confusion is not godly. It's not high vibrational. It's not of love, of the love energy, of the love frequency. And when there's confusion, it can create and shape and mold things to appear a certain way that is a lie. So it perpetuates illusions. Every walking, living being on this planet is a manifester, whether they are proactively participating in manifestation or creation or not. There are some people who are cognizant and aware, and there are some who are active participants, and there are some who are not active participants. But you and myself, we have to be aware and be cognizant of the magic and the alchemy and the energy that we are projecting out and that we are putting out in our thoughts, in our words, and in our actions, our behaviors, and in our deeds, and in the decisions that we make, in our interactions with people. Okay? So if we're not aware of the type of energies that are in our intimate and close environment, and we're not aware if they are intentionally or unintentionally creating chaos and confusion in our life, and how that can affect our decision making, and how that can affect our perception and our perspective, and how we see the world, how we see ourselves, and how we see others. When you're not in your power, when you're not operating in your divine authority and in your sovereignty, these energies that are happening around you can dictate and determine your decision making, your thought processes, your behaviors, your behavior patterns, and your communication style, how you show up for yourself, to yourself, or for others and towards others. You have to be cognizant and slow down and take a moment and observe, really observe, and see who operates in the spirit, in the frequency of confusion, chaos. Because anything that is of the Most High God energy, frequency of love, is not confusing. God communicates clearly and directly. Its energy shows up as it is. It does not confuse you. It sometimes can trick the enemy for a reason, to make sure that its plan and its purpose is being thrust forward. There are times in strategic art of war, like for the purpose of spiritual warfare, that the divine, the Most High, can manipulate situations, scenarios, to make sure that its plan is going to happen, and is happening, and is going to be, like I said, thrust forward to trick the enemy, to be 10,000 steps ahead of the enemy. There are situations where that is very necessary. But just in terms of daily living and daily life, your regular routine and things of that nature, we have to be aware and cognizant where confusion is taking place. Who's causing it? Who's the source? What the intentions are. Because, like I said, the divine God energy is not the author of confusion. So when we're confused in ourselves, in our own minds, or in our own heart, or in our own emotion, we have to get alone and allow the Most High God to guide and direct us in the right direction and on the right path where we need to go to clear out the confusion. We should never make decisions, life-changing decisions, in haste, in desperation, in fear, in guilt, in coercion from the influences of others, or in uncertainty. We need to be crystal clear. We need to know that we know that we know that we know on the inside of us that our decisions are from the heart and from the soul core of our being. And that it makes sense on an energetic and spiritual level, and also on a physical level. So it has to make sense logically and also intuitively. So be aware of energies in your environment that cause confusion. Because when you're dealing with other energies who do not show up in a confusing way, and they're very authentic, straightforward, direct, they're clear with their intentions and who they are, there's nothing confusing about them. You have to step up and match that. Because if you're confused about who you are, and you're confused about your life, and you're confused about where you're going and what you got going on, you're also confused about others, and you're surrounded by others who are just as confused as you, that can cause a snowball of confusion. Anybody who does not live a confusing life, they're not confused in their energy, in their identity, in their thought process, in their emotions, they're not going to stick around and hang around in a confusing, chaotic environment. Anyone who loves themselves, who honors and respects a spiritual law, universal law, and respects other living beings, is not going to tolerate confusion on any level. So we have to be clear in our interactions with others, and we have to be very aware of where the source of confusion comes from. Because the enemy, the adversary of the Most High God, is always working overtime, causing confusion. And the vessels that its energy has parasitically taken over, we have to be aware of these people who have been compromised on that level to where that they maintain and keep up chaos and confusion. You know, the ones that lie, gossip, talk too much, talk a lot about nothing. They are manipulative to get their way and have things go in their favor, and they will go to no end to do so. We have to be aware of these energies and of these types of people in our environment. We have to be aware who is worthy of our communication, our direct communication, and our direct expression of our authenticity and our realness and our truth. Because it creates an imbalance and an injustice when someone shows up in their truth and their authenticity, and then we don't meet them and reciprocate back that same energy. Because then what we're left with is highway robbery. So someone walks away with someone's truth and authenticity energy, and they did not reciprocate back, so therefore they stole energy. Energy is currency. Currency is also money. So engaging and interacting and sharing and exchanging with another, there has to be reciprocity. There has to be equal give and take. There has to be fairness and balance. And sometimes in our woundedness and our unawareness, we can show up where we are not able to reciprocate because we are in fear of something. So you shouldn't show up in fear when you're engaging with others. When you are becoming close, growing close, or building or collaborating or building friendships, building connection. You shouldn't show up in fear and insecurity and in inauthenticity where you don't know who you are. Because that can be a turnoff to someone who has journeyed in-depthly within themselves, properly did the shadow work and healing and self-reflection, introspection of themselves, came out on the other side of all of that, and they know who they are. They know what they want out of life. They know what they want out of friendship, connection, relationship, collaborations. They know. They have a knowing. These types of energies and people who operate and show up in this way, their patience is not that long. Yes, they can be loving and they can be patient. But if there isn't proper communication and clarity, but there's been confusion and there hasn't been any clarity of some kind, like, I mean, I'm not talking about vague communication, like just open-ended communication that is so vague that it's not defining. It's not clear. These types of energies in the individual, they're not going to be patient for that. Even if you don't know, say you don't know. Even if you are afraid, or you are working, or fear has its, hold on you to some extent. Say that. Say something, then not nothing at all. If you're not prepared for something, or if you're not ready for something, say that. If you don't have enough, or if you feel like you can't give X, Y, and Z, but you can give A, B, C, say something. Because when you have confusion and trickster energies in your environment that have been puppeteering in the background and hiding in the background, unbeknownst to you, that can make you look like you're just as an op as the ops you have around you that are unidentified and that you have not come into the awareness of. I'm trying to explain this so that someone and others can really, really grasp the damage that this can cause. You have to see how damaging and destructive this can really, really, really be. You cannot afford to move about and navigate your world and this world in confusing energy. Even in your interactions with others. Because you can very well be thinking things is all good, or when it's really not. It's really not. And being that no real conversation has been made to clear up the confusion, that can be very destructive. Just imagine what can really be destroyed if clarification isn't made. And if the one who really needs to be in control, which is you need to be in control of your environment, of your world, of your life. Not secret frenemies and enemies and ops who are in the back and behind the scenes causing a lot of confusion. Being one way around you and another way behind your back. Putting out all this confusion and chaos with their gossiping, with their lying, with their hatred, with their envy, with their jealousy, with their intentions. And some, it can be so deep that they're actually doing offensive, harmful, hurtful alchemy and causing illusion to perpetuate the illusion, to add an added layer to make the illusion that much more real. You have to be cognizant and aware of these things. At some point or another, it could be very destructive and catastrophic to your life if you are allowing this type of energy to run rampant in your life on an energetic level, because this is something that is spiritual. It's not tangible. You can't touch it. And it'll become something you can touch way after the fact, when reality really strike and you really see, like, oh my, what has happened? What has occurred? What did I miss? What wasn't I seeing? Who or what wasn't I watching or keeping you can't be that busy and moving around. You got to slow down and you got to watch. Even if you looking like you're not watching, you got to look like you watching and listening very closely, because I'm telling you, these low down, diabolical, demonic, toxic energies are real crafty. Real crafty. You gotta be 10,000 gazillion trillion million steps ahead. And you have to have other senses that are online and operating other than your two eyes. Your spiritual eye have to be open, unclogged, unfogged, so that you can see what's going on underneath the surface. So if you were very surface level, you're a surface level person, you're very superficial, you do not have spiritual cognitive awareness, things cannot be properly filtered through your mind to bring you spiritual clarity and spiritual sight of things in the everyday life. You are going to be sorry when you run into a spiritual problem that you deemed just regular, everyday life experience. There's a lot more going on, layer to layer, to this reality that we are in. This reality is layered. We are layered beings. We have a fleshly exterior, and we also have a soul and a spirit. You have to be aware. You have to remove the debris out of your energetic field so that you can see clearly. When you go drive, you do not get in your vehicle and drive with debris and moisture blocking your view. You can cause an accident. The accident can be fatal. So can it be on a spiritual level. If you are just navigating this physical reality and you don't have spiritual sight, your energetic ability to read energy, read vibes, feel your environment, feel the words that come out of people's mouth, check their body language. Just feeling the vibes, knowing where someone vibrates at, reading the frequencies that someone has. All these emotional attributes and characteristics that humans and people possess on every day in this life there is an energetic frequency that correlates. If someone is negative, someone's combative, argumentative, they're insecure, they're jealous, those are frequencies. Yes, they're emotions. Yes, they're descriptives and adjectives of a person, but they're energy. These energies get things going. They get things moving. So if someone's energy are those things, what do you think they are going to get moving? And what do you think they're going to be putting into motion if they're showing up in those types of energies? Put it together. Add it up. People who are easily and quickly to anger. People who are argumentative, combative, controlling, domineering, jealous, envious, salty, negative, pessimistic, competitive, and not in a healthy way competitive, not competing to make better for all and everyone, but only so that they could just dominate and monopolize. These are the building blocks of something. These are the building blocks and the energy components that is building some sort of vehicle or a greater goal. These frequencies create. They're creating something. What are they going to create if these are the energies that are being created from? It's going to create more of itself. It's going to create more of its likeness and more of its kind. I don't know anywhere where you can create anything good and beautiful and wonderful and magnificent from these types of energies. These are the types of energies that keep up confusion and chaos. Back to the subject at hand. These are the energies that keep up confusion. So, it's to counteract and to combat the confusion, we have to show up in the opposite. Where there's no clarity, there needs to be clarity. No lack of clarity needs to be replaced with clarity. Lies need to be replaced with truth. Inauthenticity needs to be replaced with authenticity. This is alchemy. This is how transmutation happens. Because if we just allow these energies to just continue and to settle and to sit, it's going to continue to create more of itself and more confusion. So when we do nothing, or when we do the same thing as these energies, we are keeping up and maintaining the confusion. And these energies will dominate the scenario, will dominate the narrative, will dominate the outcome. Is that what you want? If that's not what you want, you need to learn how to transmute and shift the energy to what you want it to be. Instead of just when things finally hit the fan and then you're like, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. But you did nothing though. You think the universe is going to care about, or the heavenly courts, or the Most High God is going to care about what you intended in your mind, but you didn't say through your mouth, which is an action. Speaking is an action. So you just left it in your mind, or you just left the energy or the emotion in your heart chakra space. You didn't express from the heart, speak from the heart, act from the heart. The universe didn't believe you. The universe didn't take you serious because you didn't act on what you thought. With your words, with your communication, and even with your physicality. You didn't show up in a way that could have counteracted the confusion. So therefore, you show up and you look just as like an op as the ops that's keeping up the confusion. The universe is not going to care. The heavenly court, the high court, and that has to bring judgment and weigh the scales of fairness to bring justice, because justice has to happen. And it will happen. But it's not going to care what you intended and what you wanted if you didn't act. And you allow the illusionists and the liars and the lies and the confusion to stay. You allowed it to stay. Even if you didn't want it to. So you look just as guilty. You have to see this. You have to get this. So what you don't want, you have to act and do the opposite. Or the opposition that is manifesting and creating against you to get you to lose and to miss will win. Do you want them to win? Do you want your magic to overpower so that you will win? We are all manifestors and co-creators with this universe, whether we are aware of it or participating or not. Because the liars and the illusionists and the thieves, some of them who are aware or unaware or not, they get it. Because they want what they want that bad. You have to want what you want even better. So then, when it comes time for justice to take place, and the Most High in the heavenly court has to weigh the scales to see what is just and what was fair in the situation or in this experience. You think you're going to be exempt because you feel like, because you didn't operate in a certain way, or you didn't say something, or you left something out, or you didn't make any promises or whatever. The universe don't care about none of that. The universe care about, did you do the right thing? Did you show up in right energy? Did you do what was right and best for everybody involved, even for yourself? Or did you actively or inactively participate in the confusion? Because when somebody who has divine rank to call judgment on a situation so that everything can get looked at with a fine-tooth comb and properly judged, everybody involved is gonna be looked at. Everybody and everything's gonna be examined. Even everybody. Nobody will be exempt or excluded. Everybody who was right and everybody who was wrong. So, you have to be aware of how you could be very well be keeping up the confusion. Or how you have been a participant or cooperative of some way to an extent or another, keeping up some confusion. Because it's not fair to others who don't operate in that way, who don't show up in confusion, who intentions were not confusing. So, that is what I needed to bring to the message for today. Okay. I hope somewhere this brought some enlightenment and some encouragement, some empowerment, and some clarity to someone. So yeah, I want to thank you all for your time, and you lovely souls can go back doing what you were doing. I send you all love, healing, and light, and in this life. And until next time.